I must tell you, we've been having a blast in the studio. I'm talking about having a blast. One who did it for Nigeria at the highest level, an Olympian, a record holder when it comes to winning at the Olympics, especially in the year 2000 as well as the year 2004. We have former Nigerian athletes joining us at this time, Enefiok Udo-Obong. Interesting you speaking to us on the show. Maybe the first time I would like to say, but we are glad to have you join us on Sportsville this afternoon, Enefiok.
The pleasure is mine. I'm glad to be here.
Yes, it's all about the performance of Team Nigeria at the 2023 Africa Games in Ghana. But I would like us to dwell majorly on where you excelled in your A days, athletics. How will you sum up our performance in track and field at the Games?
Like you said, it wasn't really a surprise for people that have been following athletics and following the athletes going through. I was quite impressed with some of the things and some of the way some of the athletes have put themselves together to produce impressive times. We have to understand that when we go for games like this, it's more about the medals and not really the performance, because the country is counting how many medals, and we're looking in front and seeing Egypt, we're looking behind us, we're seeing South Africa, we're seeing Algeria, we're seeing all the others. So generally, it's about trying to bring out the result in terms of medals. And we have to understand that sometimes when we take risk or when we reduce the risk in our performances because we just want the results to be there. But so far, we were very happy with the athletes that did very well. It was refreshing to see that they finally carried the bulk of home-based athletes. And I've always been an advocate of the athletes at home because they are the foundation. They are the ones that have coached, and they're the ones that have been coached properly, and they're the ones that are doing what it is. What has put them at a disadvantage to their foreign counterparts is the lack of competition. And that's why we keep on saying that corporate bodies, sponsors should come and sponsor events. Now we have a lot of competition. We tell the federation we want more races. Once you have more races, you see the performance. And what just happened in the just concluded games, it's perfect for us to see that our home-based athletes can deliver the goods whenever they're called upon.
Yes, let's talk about our star girl, Toby Amusan. She once again proved to the continent that our class is permanent, especially in the women's hurdles.
Toby has no peer in the world. Maybe just one or two people are close to her. So if you're counting two hurdlers in the whole world, or you're counting three, she'll probably be big in the mention there. In Africa, definitely she has no peer. She's in a class of her own. She's a different breed. So we're very lucky to have such an athlete. But that is where the luck ends, because we should understand that Toby is someone that has gone through the system of Nigeria, through the coaches in Nigeria, and has been able to achieve this much. That is where we should now start looking and saying, look, Nigeria, we've been able to create a world champion. We've been able to create the world record holder. We can create more. Let us showcase Toby. And before I even go on and showcasing to what we should do, let me just give a big shout out to Toby and Ese Brume, because these are two of the best athletes. They come at every time to compete for Nigeria. They come for the national trials, even when they don't even need to. Toby was the world champion, the defending world champion. She knew she had a wild card. She still came for the Nigerian national trials to compete. They come for the national trials. They come for every competition, whether it's Commonwealth, African Championship, All African Games. There is no events that you call Toby and representing the country that she doesn't show up. This is beyond the norm of what other top athletes have been doing for Nigeria, even those that are not very top. We've seen a few will not come for the All African Games, a few will not come for the African Championship, a few will not come for a few of the games. But Toby comes for everything she's invited for, and she's doing big things at home. So people like Toby and Ese need to really, really be honored. They bring everything down, and they always deliver.
Yes, before we let you go, the Olympics is the focus at this time. How can we build on the performance of Team Nigeria, especially the positive, as we build up to the Olympics and the dominance of the Egyptians? How can this be curtailed in subsequent outing?
Well, the Olympics are different ball games. I don't think there's any correlation, because the Olympics, we just have some particular sports that the standard is much higher, we qualify for, and then we push. But the All African Games, we can strategize if we want to start competing with Egypt. Basically, we've not done too bad because we are ahead of South Africa. South Africa was the one that's always a threat when Egypt, because they do some kind of event, they've invested in some kind of sport that we've not invested in. Well, this was Accra was a disadvantage to us because they didn't put in the where a lot of our medals come from, which is the para sports, para weightlifting, para athletics. And you can know that we could have added probably another 20 more gold medals. But even if we add 20 to that, we wouldn't be near Egypt. So we should analyze and see where are Egypt's medals coming from. Not just swimming, not just shooting. There's some other kind of technical events, and we should analyze and say, look, if Egypt is winning so much here, we should start reducing their medals. In athletics, Egypt won only 1 or 2 gold medals. So you can see that while we had moved up with gold medals in double figures, 10, 11, in athletics, Egypt just won. So let us now look and analyze and develop sports in the sense that look at those federations in which Egypt have been doing well. We call the federation president and say, look, let's invest more in your sports. Let's have competitions. I mean, it's sad that we have so many federations, so many sports in Nigeria, but we don't have competitions every weekend. We don't have handball competition. We don't have arm wrestling competition. Nigeria should be a country really with competitions of all kinds, and then we start growing. In the US, you have competitions every weekend of different things. Anywhere your interest is, whether it's Scrabble, whether it's chess, whether it's arm wrestling, whether it's volleyball, whether it's handball, whether it's badminton, whether it's table tennis, whether it's athletics, whether it's football, we must have competitions. Once we have competitions, our athletes develop, and then we'll be better for it in the long run.
Yes, former Nigerian athletes, an Olympian, one who did it at the very highest level, an individual that should be speaking at this time. Enefiok Udo-Obong, it's a pleasure having you speak with us today on Sportsville.
Thank you very much. My pleasure.